a large area of snow tracking across the United States as a major winter storm hits on Saturday. And another storm is on its heels for Monday. I'm meteorologist Gary Lezak with Weather 2020. Our winter forecast comes out Thursday, December 5th. So if you aren't premium members already, join now. There's a 50% discount. Weather2020.substack.com. Here is what is going on. Amazing. As you can see there, the large area of snow. So let's go over this real quickly. I'll take 5 minutes or less to take you through this. Tracking a major winter storm. Weather 2020 intelligence report on this November 29th. This was earlier this morning. As you can see here, all around 6:51 a.m., heavy snow and freezing fog in St. Louis, and snow in Ames, Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, all the way to Chicago, Illinois. Here's the winter storm warning that's in effect from northeast Missouri to Wisconsin and Michigan and parts of South Dakota. Look at that, with winter storm watches and travelers advisories around it. High wind watches and warnings for parts of Oklahoma and Kansas as the storm moves across. Look at the area of snow forecast by tonight. By tonight, this is snowfall widespread from the Dakotas and eastern Nebraska all the way to Michigan and across Indiana and Ohio, with up to a foot of snow or more. As you can see down here, a couple spots with more than a foot of snow. What's causing this? There's a river of air above us that is cycling regularly. More on that in just a second. But here's the jet stream coming across the United States, and see this little circulation right over Iowa. It dips right there. You can almost put a little upper level low, and that's the storm causing today's winter weather. But look, there's another system on its heels, the next disturbance. All right? This disturbance is forecast to track right into this position, southwest of Iowa, northeastern Kansas. Now, this is the GFS model. It's a little more organized than the other systems, but almost every system has this coming across, almost every model, with some snow. So very interesting. This is the upper level flow, about 18,000 feet up. I'll talk more about that in the print version of this, so you can go read it, the read version. Snow in Kansas City, there's a good chance that a band of snow will form and move in from the west Monday. Accumulations of a dusting of 2 inches. Some spots may have 3 or 4 inches, as I'll show you. This is the forecast. By 6 p.m., a wide area of snow again across, more snow from where areas that are getting it now. Freezing rain and mixture over southern Missouri and thunderstorms down south. This is the GFS model showing 3 to 4 inch amounts, 1 to 2 inches in Kansas City. And then the Canadian model has about 1 to 2 inches. And most models have this band. The European model has it centered on Kansas City. So we'll see if that happens. And then snow over the Rocky Mountains as well. Denver, it snowed today. Did it snow 0.1 inches? That's the question. It's at least the second latest first snow in Denver's history. It did snow. I'm looking outside here in Golden. A half inch of snow did fall here. So it fell. There's more snow on the way, but it has been hard to get snow so far this season in the Rockies. The weather pattern is cycling. There's a big atmospheric jigsaw. You may have heard of El Nino and La Nina. That's the El Nino Southern Oscillation Index. The North Atlantic Oscillation, the Arctic Oscillation, the NAO and the AO, big influences on the pattern. These are influences. Most forecasters do not even include the centerpiece. The most important piece in forecasting the weather long range is the LRC, and it even helps with close range and so short range forecasting. There's also an LRC in the Southern Hemisphere, but just know the LRC for the season is setting up. All right, so what's going on in the first 50 days of this pattern, from October 5th to November 29th, first 55 days of the pattern? Very wet in California. They are going to have a wet season. All right, they're going to be regular storms every 3-4 weeks, and below average in Oregon. That may fill in. Kansas, and think about it, this does not include today's storm. So this is going to fill in with more near average and above average across the Dakotas. So that's what's been going on so far. Temperature-wise, it has been warmer than average nationwide pretty much. A couple of near average spots. But this is what's been going on since the pattern set up. Right now, for the last few weeks, you've heard of this thing called sudden stratospheric warming. I took you through it. I don't think that that's what it happens. It's sudden stratospheric lowering, if anything. But they advertise a major Arctic blast by now. It's not happening. The Arctic air is still way up here. This is where it's truly Arctic air. That is brutally cold air up across northern Canada and the Arctic Circle and over Siberia, okay, west of Alaska. Down in the United States, yeah, it's colder, and it's going to get colder. In fact, look, over the snowpack, it's going to drop to below zero over this whole area up here where it snows. So it's cold, but it's not an Arctic blast, okay? It's not an Arctic blast. In fact, look what happens. By December the 10th, the cold air retreats, still somewhat cold over the Great Lakes, but look at most of the nation, 50s, 60s, and 70s, even some 80s. So there you go. That's the outlook by December the 10th as the pattern goes back into the western trough part of the pattern. Winter forecast you may have seen in mid-October. We tell you anything that comes out before November, before mid-November, late November, based on not much, all right? And already, look at this forecast from the National Weather Service for California. Warmer than average and drier than average. So this is warmer than average, and this is drier than average. As I showed you, this will be wrong. We already know that that's wrong. And that's their forecast right now for the winter. They don't use the LRC. Other forecasts have come out, as you can see. Look at this one for the winter. Again, above average temperatures and below average rain. Wrong. I'm 99% certain it'll be wet here. All right? So they're just doing classic ENSO forecasting. One of the forecasts from AccuWeather, what does this even mean? Cold periods. Oh, it's already right. There's a cold period. What good is that? Okay, some rain in the mid-Atlantic. I'll bet you it does rain some there. 100% chance of that. And rain, snow, or ice. Yep, there's going to be rain, snow, or ice here. 100%. Heavy lake effect snow has already happened. Mainly dry. Wrong. So this is either meaningless or wrong. That's what you get from everybody else. From Weather 2020, you'll get an outlook. This is the forecast through May right now. You'll get an outlook for the whole world, anywhere you want, if you get this model. It's the LRC model. And notice how our forecast is for near to above average temperatures to continue for the winter, but there will be cold spells, But when will they happen? We go down to the states. Here's Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, and Nebraska, and shows you temperatures above average or near average. And then going down to county by county in the Kansas City area, it shows you how much snow is going to fall this winter. Each county of the entire United States, you have a snowfall forecast, and we have various versions of this that you can have. And then, most importantly, for farmers, for energy, you want to know which weeks are going to be hot, which weeks are going to be cold, which weeks are going to be stormy. Well, notice how this shows you for this region when it's going to be stormy and when it's not going to be. And this will be narrowing in on accuracy by January 1st. So from January to September is our sweet spot. This shows a wet week. So stormy end of the year. And then a stormy stretch in early February. And if you're planting, you can plan your plantings. But anyway, this is a week-by-week analysis. And you can have this model. The LRC model data is available at weather2020.com or just contact Bryce Palmer, Bryce at weather2020.com. All right, just want to give you that information. As you can see here, we do have a winter storm in progress. And let me know if there's any questions. Again, welcome to all of our new premium customers. The winter forecast is on Thursday. I've got a lot of work to do between now and then. And we'll break it down for you for each region of the United States. I'm meteorologist Gary Lezak. Let's see what happens with Monday's storm.